disclosed Jewish conversations between Spotify, Shopify, and CNBC, free speech, censorship, and yay. All that shit. This is news from 5D. I'm Otis 5D. Let's do it.
News from 5D with Otis 5D.
All right, so we're gonna watch a thing on CNBC here. Here's the proof. This is CNBC, and we're watching the president of Shopify, who's a Jewish guy, be questioned about why. So, Ye, the artist formerly known as Kanye West, his website Yeezy.com, where he was selling a swastika T-shirt for some period of time, and that's the only thing he was selling. Was hosted by Shopify, and it ultimately was removed from Shopify. And here he is on CNBC explaining what happened and being questioned as to why it took him so long to take action. Let's say why wasn't action taken immediately? Now, what's important about this is that the newscaster Sarah Eisen makes no declaration or disclosure that she's Jewish. I searched for it. I searched Sarah Eisen Jewish, and it certainly came up. And you can search for it on Twitter. I feel like I saved it, but now I'm realizing, like, oh, I did. Oh, I did. That's right. I did. Okay. Let me pull that up, and we'll go through that later, just to verify that Sarah Eisen is a Jewish person. And I think what's important about this is that, and the reason I'm telling you in advance is because as you listen to this, from my perspective, it's very clear that knowing that Sarah Eisen is Jewish affects your perception of this dialogue. And what's important about that is that if Sarah Eisen were black, and she was talking about racism against black people, you would fully know, okay, I'm listening to a black person talk about racism against black people, so it's going to be like naturally biased because they're black and they're talking about something that affects them. Whereas with this, you just think you're listening to some, white lady, CNBC anchor, and you have no idea that she is speaking about something that affects her directly. And I think that this is so important. It cannot be overstated how ethically unacceptable this is to do this. It's just it's not okay, in my opinion. And if you disagree, let me know about that. I don't see how anyone can disagree, but the internet's a big place, so let's check it out.
So, Harley, speaking of your merchants, as you know, a widely followed famous anti-Semite.
So right away, see, so there's an idea called Russell conjugating, and this comes from Bertrand Russell. It was popularized by Eric Weinstein, and it's the idea that rather than giving a neutral observation, you can affect people's understanding of something by how you frame it. So I think that the famous example that Balaji uses is something like, he sweats, she perspires, I glow. You're describing sweat in all of the instances, but obviously like sweat is a little bit perspiring is a bit athletic or something, and glowing is radiant. But you're describing the same thing and you're choosing the words. So for her, right out the gate, to be like a famous anti-Semite, he's an anti-Semite, the end. And then some dickwad retard like Piers Morgan. Sorry, I should get better about pulling back when I'm dealing with such inflammatory subjects. Someone like Piers Morgan would then go, well, obviously he's an anti-Semite, but I mean, that's he has made many comments about like how he works with Jewish people, he likes Jewish people, et cetera, et cetera. It's like to put that out there, to frame the conversation like that is at best disingenuous, in my opinion. Even though I understand that many people would be like, well, obviously Ye is an anti-Semite. Like, look what he posted. Like, I get it, but nevertheless, I still think it's disingenuous and ethically unacceptable, in my opinion.
Bought a super.
Here
so
we go.
Harley, speaking of your merchants, as
And it's
you know,
right how it starts off. And she's
widely
grilling this
followed
guy.
Famous anti-Semite bought a Super
Boom.
Bowl ad.
And you don't know at this time that this is two Jewish people speaking to each other. And if you add me into the mix, it's three Jewish people engaging with each other.
Directing people to buy swastika T-shirts on a website that you hosted. Why did you not pull that website?
Why did you not, right? Like immediately, like when did you stop beating your wife? Like you obviously should have done this sooner than you did. And the whole time you have no idea that this is a Jewish person saying this. The more I say that, it's insane.
Immediately.
Well,
Immediately.
the website is down right now, but look, all merchants that
It
use
was up
Shopify,
all of
Sarah,
yesterday.
Puts him on the defensive. He starts to answer. She immediately jumps in. It was up all day yesterday. Again, never disclosing that she's Jewish.
Yesterday.
It's
Yeah,
insane.
so all merchants are responsible for following the rules of our platform. This merchant did not engage in authentic commerce practices, and they had an entire day to prove otherwise, which did not happen. They violated our terms. We removed them from Shopify.
But your terms of service say you can pull the website for any reason, as you just said. So why didn't you pull it sooner?
Look, good process creates good outcomes, Sarah, and we follow a good process here. It was down the moment we realized that this was not actually a real commerce practice.
I think
they weren't
this is
actually
bordering
engaging in
on
authentic
evil,
commerce, we pulled it
actually,
down.
if I'm being totally
What's your
honest.
reaction to it?
It's disappointing. I'm a proud Jewish entrepreneur. I'm a proud Jewish community member.
See, she
you and I
doesn't say
talked about
me
this
too.
on the past, that it's a big part of my identity. So obviously, I'm devastated.
She
by
doesn't
that.
say it's a
But
big part
I
of
do
my
believe
identity
that good
too,
practice,
even
good
though it is.
process leads to good outcomes, and that's what we did here. We pulled the shop down.
Have you ever had to do something like this before?
From time to time, there are stores. I mean, we have an accessible use policy that we evaluate. We have millions of stores, and we evaluate these stores on an ongoing basis. We see a store that infringes on that, we pull it down. But the important thing is to actually do it properly. So, and we did that here.
Have you heard any response back from the team?
I don't know. Not to date.
Kanye. So Harley.
Sarah Eisen, without you just cut to the chase. You come off as a bad faith actor. You come off as the judge and jury, and to not disclose your personal bias in what you're reporting on is acting in bad faith. And so let me, I wasn't thinking about this, so I haven't queued it up. So it may, hey, look at me go. Not bad. Look at that right away. I didn't even, so I searched from Sarah Eisen, that's her account, the person we just listened to, Jewish. I searched for this today on Twitter just to see. I already had searched. I already knew she was Jewish. So I grew up with horrifying Holocaust stories from my grandfather, one of the few who survived Auschwitz. Men, women, and children murdered for being Jewish. I've been to Auschwitz just so to put my bona fides on the table. To my colleagues in the media, call it what it is. I'm sure, when was this? October 10th. So this is about October 7th. She's upset that the media is not being more harsh about this. Companies and universities should reevaluate their DEI policies as there's increasing evidence DEI does not protect Jewish people, right? So it's like, okay, as a Jewish American, I will not allow neo-Nazis ranting, Jews will not replace us, to cause this Jew to leave his job. This is 2017. She's quoting someone else. That's not her saying this. The numbers and findings from this new ADL study are staggering and alarming. In a major reversal, quote, this survey found millennials and Gen Z have surpassed older generations and agree with more anti-Jewish tropes than any other cohort. It's because of you, Sarah Eisen. You are, as a bad faith actor, are a big part of the reason, along with Jonathan Greenblatt, who you're quote tweeting, unavailable because I fucking block him, that for that trend. Why would anyone trust you? And so then they extend that lack of trust for you to the thing that you're not disclosing, which is Jewish people at large. And for you to pretend otherwise is at best disingenuous. To use things like, Mike Benz and Eric Weinstein talk about, it's not good for Jewish people. And it's also, much more importantly than that, it is objectively, ethically unacceptable, especially for a journalist. Namaste. So, if you want to make the world a better place, take a look at yourself, Miss Sarah Eisen, and make that change. So check me out. Like, share, subscribe, follow. Come to my website, otis5d.xyz. Check out what I got going on. And other than that, go fuck yourself. Peace.
Otis5d.xyz.
Go fuck yourself.